Hi, this is Sam Grant, and today I'm going to share with you probably the three most popular questions I get from students whenever I'm teaching them how to use Dreamweaver for the first time. A lot of people are sometimes confused at the default settings for Dreamweaver. They often wonder why things are the way they are, and then whenever we make a request for them to go do something, they always say, well, where is that, or how do you change that? So I'm going to take right now the three most popular questions that I get from students, and I'm going to show you how to rectify them right now. The first question, which is probably the most important one, lies over here inside the code view section. One of the big problems with this, you'll notice the type is extremely small, and this is the default setting for this. When Dreamweaver comes out of the box, it always puts this particular part of the window, which is a code view, in 7 point. And 7 point is not a legible point size. Most people would prefer this to be twice as big. So I'm going to show you how to set that now. In order to change the point size of the text in the code view, you go over to Dreamweaver at the top menu bar, and then from here you choose the command Preferences. Now when the Preferences dialog box opens, you'll see there's a lot of categories over here. You got general, accessibility, and other things, and we'll cover some of those a little bit later. The one you're looking for right now deals specifically with fonts. So when you click on the word fonts, you're going to see all the font settings over here. This is telling you what typeface is being used right now, which is a Unicode UTF-8 font, which is what you want to use. You've got a proportional font of Times Roman for your standard text, which is in your HTML viewing side. And then you have a fixed font of Monaco for all fixed font information. And down here you'll see here is the code view information. And notice that it's in Monaco, and the default size is 7 point. Now this is way too small. To make this larger, you simply go to this arrow, and you choose something bigger that's easier to look at. I'm going to go ahead and choose 14, and then press OK. And notice now that the typeface is a much larger size. It automatically adjusts to whatever width you make the window, and it reflows the text anytime you need it. And the good news is now that this is going to be the permanent size of the font. So whenever you need to look at this, this is a much clearer size. Of course, if you want to make it bigger or smaller, you simply go back to the same place and change it. The second request I get from people is how to turn off the accessibility request. Every time somebody makes a major change to something or adds something, the window also pops up and asks you for the accessibility guidelines. Now, I don't recommend that you turn this off, but if you happen to be learning the software and you're not ready to actually apply all of those tags, it can be very daunting to keep clicking past this. We've done a little bit of a survey. We found out that a lot of people just actually sort of click past this, which is not good. You really should be designing your web pages for all screen readers, because in the long run, this could eventually get your site shut down if enough people complain about it. So if you just want to temporarily turn it off, what you want to do is go back up to the Dreamweaver menu, and then here choose Preferences again, and you're looking for the second category, which is accessibility. When you click on accessibility, you'll see it says show attributes when inserting these objects here. Now, for example, you've got form objects, frames, media, and images. Now, if you don't want to show up for everything, you can simply just go back and turn them off for some things. Right now, I'm going to turn them off for all of them, and then press OK. And now whenever you insert anything into the page, you will no longer be requested to put in the accessibility guidelines. Now, of course, as a true designer, I strongly suggest that once you learn the software program, you turn those back on and make sure your pages can be seen by all screen readers. The third thing that the students often have trouble with is getting this bar to show up, which is something called the Style Rendering Toolbar. Now, the Style Rendering Toolbar is actually a device that gives you shortcuts. It's similar to the toolbar you see going across here, but in most installations, whenever you start the program, it's normally not visible. Now, the simplest way to bring this up would be if you happen to have a right-click button, you can either right-click on this space across the top, or you can control-click if you don't have a right-click button. And then what shows up is this little small window here. And it tells you exactly which of the bars are visible. The document, standard, browser, navigation, and coding is all currently up. Now here, the document window, the browser navigation, and the coding system is up. But the one we want is style rendering. So to get style rendering to come up, you simply click on this, and the bar expands now to show you all of the style rendering settings that you have here. Now, many of you don't know exactly what these are for, but the most common one is probably going to be this one right here, which is the one that toggles the CSS styles off and on. Simply click on this button one time. It changes from blue to black, and you'll notice that all of the CSS on this side of the window is gone. Go back to the same place and click on the same button again. It switches back to blue, and all your CSS now becomes reactivated. So those are the three most common problems that the students often complain about whenever using Dreamweaver for the first time. And I'm hoping that this resolves some of your problems as well, because if these aren't the top three, I'm sure they're within the top 10. So now you know. So happy coding.